Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new to my channel, hello, I'm Caitlin, and today we're going to be talking about another true crime story. When I say true crime, I mean, it's kind of, it's like true crime history, I guess you could say, like true crime history. So today we're going to be talking about the story of the Donner Party. How many of y'all have heard of the Donner Party? Hit me, raise your hands, comment down below if you've ever heard about the Donner Party, anything you know about the Donner Party. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, share this video with your friends, and let's get moving on. Ooh, 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 ooh. So, the Donner Reed Party was a group of American pioneers who migrated to America on the wagon train from the Midwest. So, you got, they're coming from Illinois, Springfield, Illinois, and they're trying to go to Oregon, okay? Because they were all told, this was back in like 1846, back when the California gold rush was going on. So a lot of people were like, let me just pick up my stuff and we're going to go to California to have a better life for ourselves and just, do better things and do better lives for ourselves, because they were sick and tired of living like back to back, like the farmers' lives and stuff. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So the 9 covered wagons had left Springfield, Illinois on this 2,500-mile journey to California. And, they were told, it won't take this long, yay. So the originator from this group was a man named James Fraser Reed. He was an Illinois businessman, and he was very eager to set his fortune in California, because, back then everyone was like, oh, the California gold rush, yay, gold, yay. And, that kind of just, stressed me out a little bit, because I hate moving. I don't know how they were able to move all the time. Like, back in those days, just pick up all their shit and just dip. Like, I couldn't do that. I get stressed out about moving. So the originator from this group, like I said, was trying to build a fortune in California, and the James Reed dude, he was hoping that the California air would be good for his wife Margaret, who suffers from intense migraines, and they were thought that she would do better on the coastal climate. They're like, okay, that works for me. Yeah, okay, yeah. So there's a man named Langsford W. Hastings who had advertised a shortcut across the Great Basin. So they're like, let's just try this little shortcut out, right? So on the paper, talking about the shortcut, it had claimed that it would take off up to 400 miles off of traveling. Everyone's like, damn, 400 miles? Oh, let's go. And they're like, let me get this book. But so there's a big plot twist coming up. Let me just get to what happened here. So James Reed, he goes out and he buys the what was it? He went over and he bought the book that was written by the Langsford W. Hastings. He bought the book, the advertisement, and he was just like so thrilled. But what he did not know is that it had a lot of false information in it, and that it would end up leading the Donner Party to their deaths and demise. For shame. And James Reed found all these different families to come and join him. Okay, so there's all these different people that are interested in fame and fortune and everything. They're so excited, oh damn, okay, let's go. And it's just what are you doing? What are you doing there, James? What are you doing? So they ended up getting the Donner Party to come, Donner family, the Graves family, the Brains family, the Murphys family, the Eddies family, the McCutcheons family, the Kaisberg family, and the Wolfinger family. It sounds like a family feud. And over here we got the Wolfinger family. And over here we got the Donner family. And then last but not least, the Graves family. Which honestly, what's kind of ironic to me is that the family was named Graves. And y'all know what happened at the Donner Party. That shit was, woo, deep. So the initial group had 32 men, women, and children in it. So the Reed family consisted of James Reed, his wife Margaret, his many children, his 4 children. There's Virginia Reed, Patty Reed, James Reed II, and Thomas Reed. And they all went into their little covered wagon and they made their way towards California. And on top of that, they had Margaret's 70-year-old mother named Sarah Keyes. And Sarah was extremely sick with consumption. I don't know what that is, so someone look that up and tell me what consumption is. And she could barely walk. She did not want to be separated from her only daughter, so she's like, you know what, I know I can barely walk, but please, 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 please take me with you, Sarah. Please take me with you, Margaret. Please, please. You know, Margaret was like, all right, bet. So then came the Donner family. You know, they came with Reed. There was 62-year-old George Donner. There was the brother named Jacob Donner. So there's George and his brother Jacob. George's 3rd wife, Tamzini. Tamzini? I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce that. Please help me. And they had their 3 children. But George had his 3 children with his wife Tamzini. There was Frances, Georgia, and Eliza. And then he had 2 daughters from a previous marriage named Aletha and Leanna. So that's like 5 girls. That poor guy, man, he's got 5 like daughters, and then you got your wife. Like, he's just living with all these females. Bless his heart. The Donner family consisted of 62-year-old George Donner, his brother named Jacob Donner, George's 3rd wife Tamzini, and their 3 children. They got Frances, Georgia, and Eliza. Oh, I already said that. My bad. But then came Jacob's wife, Elizabeth. And Jacob, his family with Elizabeth, let me just tell you, they got 5 kids as well. Then they had George, Mary, Isaac, Samuel, and Louis. And then they had Mrs. Donner's 2 children from a previous marriage. Then this is the Mrs. Donner. This is Jacob's wife, Elizabeth. So this is Elizabeth Donner, not George Donner's wife. This is named Tamzini. We're talking about Elizabeth Donner. All right. Yeah. So then they have 5 children. They got George, Mary, Isaac, Samuel, Louis. And then they had 2 children from the previous marriage named Solomon Hook and William Hook. So it was like all boys minus Mary. Bless Mary's heart. Then they had 2 Teamsters that joined them named Noah James and Samuel Shoemaker. They were all eager. They were like, all right, let's come. Let's go to California. Let's get some gold, man. If only they knew, right? Am I right? So then they had the friend named John Denton. He decided he was going to come as well. He was like, all right, cool. And then at the bottom of Jacob Donner's saddlebag was a copy of the book called The Immigrant Guide by Langsford Hastings. The guy who said, oh, it'll take you like 20 minutes to go this way. I promise. So over the entire journey, others joined the group until the size reached 87 people. So there was like 87 people all going to California to what George Donner had said was, well, it's going to be great. Come on. And then got James Reed like, let's go. You know, everyone's just following these 2 guys, like thinking that they know what's up. So, on May 25th in present-day Marysville, Kansas, there was high water, and this is where the first death occurred. Unfortunately, it was that Sarah Keyes lady who was really sick with consumption. So she ended up dying. That's Margaret Reed's mother. Margaret Reed's mother is Sarah Keyes, and she died of consumption. Then William Russell, he was like, you know, I don't want to be captain of the train anymore. You know, let's get someone else to come. Let's get another friend. So he ends up calling over his buddy named William M. Boggs, and they make him captain of the wagon train instead. So they end up reaching Fort Laramie in just 1 week behind schedule on June 27th of 1846. At Fort Laramie, James Reed ran to an old buddy. His name was James Clyman. Lots of James, people. Lots of James. Y'all need to come up with your own damn names. Let me just tell you. James, Mary's, Joseph's, James, John, Jacob, Jingle Hop Schmidt. His name was my name, too. Then, James Clyman, he was like, he told James Reed, he's like, don't take this Hastings route because, there's the Sierra Nevadas, there's the deserts, you don't know what you're doing, you don't know where you're going. Please don't go this way. Please. Please don't. But James Reed was like, I'm gonna just ignore you, who cares? Because he ignored him because he wanted to get to California faster. You should have listened to him, James. You should have listened. Pioneers were met by a man carrying a letter from Lansford W. Hastings on July 11th of 1846. And the letter stated that Hastings would meet them all at Fort Bridger and lead them to his cutoff. He's like, I can't be here now personally, but I'll meet you over here instead. How's that sound? Which if I were them, I'd be pretty pissed. I'm following this guy over here, and he's like, we just need to get in contact with Lansford Hastings. Lansford Hastings, he knows what's up. Yeah, Lansford Hastings. It's just like, dude, really? Really? And the letter got rid of any fears the party had about the Hastings cutoff. They're like, okay, so this is legit, we'll go. It'll be fine. On July 19th, the wagon party arrived at Little Sandy River in present-day Wyoming. Obviously, Wyoming wasn't a territory back then. It was just land. It was just there. And the trail decided to split off in two parts. So you got the north route, which is the way that everybody has always gone to California. Then you've got the way that Hastings has said, which is untested. And the majority of the train took the known part. They're like, okay, we know where we're going. We're just going to go this way, okay? I'd rather not go this way because it hasn't been tested yet. Let's just go this way. We know where we're going. All right. And the rest of the people took the untested Hastings cutoff. They're like, let's just go this way instead. Okay. We'll just go over here. Which was big mistake. Big mistake there, bud. And then they had reached Fort Bridger on July 28th. There was no sign from Lansford Hastings, only another note left behind with other immigrants resting. The note had stated that Hastings had left with another group of travelers and that they should follow him to catch up. Like, don't follow me. The whole thing sounds super sketchy. Like, the guy's like, meet me here, and then he doesn't meet him, and he's like, oh, just follow me instead. Let's just go this way. All right, Hastings. Jim Bridger and Louis Vasquez assured the Donner Party that the Hastings route was the way to go. They're like, all right, well, it's the best way to go. And the Donner Party, they're all like, all right, that's enough for me. Let's just go. They all decide to rest at the fort and continue on what they were told would be a 7-week journey. I'm using quotations because it obviously wasn't 7 weeks. It took a lot longer, but we'll get into that sooner. On July 31st, the party left Fort Bridger and was joined by the McCutcheon family. The group now had 74 people in 20 wagons. So that's a lot of damn people. Not to mention that one lady that died. On August 6th, the party reached the Weber River and found another note from Lansford Hastings. He's just leaving all sorts of notes. Was he A from Pretty Little Liars? I almost had a brain fart. I couldn't remember. I was like, what was I going to say? The letter told him not to follow him down through Weber Canyon, but instead take another trail through the Salt Basin. They're like, don't follow me. Go this way instead. But like, why would you have them? The whole thing's so confusing. Well, the party camped in Utah. James Reed and other men fetched some horses to catch up with Lansford Hastings, even though they said not to fucking follow him, And they're like, all right, I'm still gonna follow him anyways. I don't have to listen to you, Lansford. You're not my daddy. So, Hastings accompanied Reed partway back to point out a new route that seemed like a shortcut. So they were going back, and they were like, oh my god, this seems like it would be a shorter way to get to California, less time, for the children, the elderly. Let's just go this way. And then he's like, okay, that's fine. And then this time, the Graves family, remember I talked about the Graves family they had? Oh, I don't know what they have. It doesn't say where the family names were, but the Graves family caught up, and they were like, oh yes, let's go. So now the Donner Party officially had 87 people in 23 wagons. That's a lot of goddamn people. That is a lot of people. The party decided to try the new trail that Hastings had pointed out, the untested trail that no one has ever gone on before. And he was like, oh, this will be a shortcut, a shortcut there, Hastings. On August 11th, the wagon trail started its journey back to the Ouachita Mountains. The wagon train was even lucky to even move like 2 miles a day because everything was going just so slow. Everyone was getting so pissed off because it took 6 days to travel 8 miles when you can literally just travel 8 miles up the goddamn road over there and it'd be fine, But back in those days, it took like years to get to where you wanted to go. They discovered that many wagons would have to be left behind due to the fact there was too many people and there was too many damn wagons. Pioneers began to get pissed off and started to blame Lansford Hastings and James Reed because James Reed's the one that's like, oh, Hastings said it was okay. I was reading his book and this is what it said. I'd be pissed off and I'd be blaming them too. Like, that's just wrong. Then on August 25th, a boy named Luke Hollard had passed away from consumption. I need to look that up because I need to figure out what consumption even is. In the 21 days since leaving the Weber River, they only traveled like 36 miles. That's like a mile a day, That's awful. Then on August 30th, the group decided to move across the Great Salt Lake Desert, and they were told by Hastings it would only take 2 days to travel. But the sand was deep, and it was wet, and the wagons were sinking, and their stuff was sinking, the horses were sinking. Like, everyone was just getting pissed off, man. They're just like, what is going on? Why is it taking so damn long when it should have only been taking this amount of time? Like that Hastings dude said, James Reed, what the hell are you doing, bud? What the hell are you doing? So then, oh God, the wagons got bogged down and it slowed down their progress. So now they're going to take even more time to get to where they needed to go. And it was just so annoying at that point for everybody. Everyone was just so mad. And the third day, the water was almost gone. So they had like almost no water. Then there was the fact that some of Reed's cattle had ran away. So they're low on cattle, they're low on water. It was just a rough time. And then from September 10th to September 25th, the party had followed the trail into Nevada, which they finally reached the Humboldt River on September 26th, the day before my birthday. And the new trail had met up with Hastings' existing path. So Hastings' existing path is going this way, and the new trail was like right up here. Like, oh, let's go this way. So they're all like super stoked, and they're like, yeah. So this disillusioned party's resentment of Hastings and ultimately Reed was increased tremendously. So they're getting even more pissed off because like, what the hell, man? This is taking forever. I mean, whoever said that moving was going to be easy, but cool. The party soon reached the California Trail, 7 miles from Elko, Nevada. I have no idea where that is. Someone tell me. And at that time, everyone's just so pissed off with each other. Like, James Reed was pissed off at the Teamsters for the treatment of the oxen, and he was like, look, you need to stop. You need to stop beating these freaking cows and these ox like this. They're just animals. And the dude's like, fuck you, dude. Don't tell me how to deal with my oxen. So James Reed's like, I bet. And he pulls out a long knife and he stabs the dude to death in the stomach. Then the Donner Party was like, you know what? I ain't having any deaths out here. No murders, no deaths. No thank you. Let's not have this today. James? Why you gotta act like this, James? So they banished him. They told him that he had to get lost. The last time they saw him, he was heading off to the west and was with some other man named Walter Herman. Whatever. The Donner Party continued to travel along the Humboldt River, and the animals soon became exhausted. So was everyone else, but the animals became exhausted. And they're like, look, we have to we have to stop using the wagons now. We have to help them out. We have to get off. We have to get out, just walk. This is just too much for them. So to spare the animals, everybody who walked could. Like the little kids and, nice middle-aged women and stuff. If they could walk, they walked. The elderly and like the infants, obviously they couldn't walk. But sometimes the infants were carried by the mothers who could walk. So 2 days after the Snyder killing, on October 7th, Louis Kesberg had kicked out We talked about Louis Ginsburg earlier. Yeah. He had kicked out an elderly gentleman who couldn't keep up. He's like, damn, dude, why are you so old and can't keep up? Which breaks my heart, because, like, they just left him there. They left him there to die. He knocked on wagons, he's like, come on, let me in, please, please. No one was wanting to let him in. And so he was like, well, damn, now what am I going to do, right? So he was last seen sitting under a large sagebrush, completely exhausted, and he was left there to die. And no one saw him since. Then on October 12th, the oxen were attacked by Plute Indians, and 21 were killed by poisoned arrows. So they lost like a shit ton more oxen. And once they reached the Sierra Nevada Gateway, there was almost no food left. There was like no cattle. Like no one knew what was going to go on. All right. So 3 days later, October 19th, one of the men was sent to Fort Sutter to return with 7 mules. They were like, all right, let's get some mules. And they had them loaded with beef, flour, and news of a clear but difficult path through the Sierra Nevada. They were like, oh, man, oh, thank fucking God. Thank God, because I can't take it anymore. I can't. That's what they're thinking. So, William McCutcheon had fallen ill, and he was staying at the fort, because he was like, I can't go on any farther. I'm sick. COVID. He was just like, I'm sick. Bye. And so then the caravan had camped for 5 days after because they left him there. They were like, bye. We don't need you. Bye. So they left him there, and they continued on to travel back with their family. So, and then after a while, on October, ignore my dog. He's a crackhead. So, on October 28th, an exhausted James Reed arrived at Sutter's Fort, where he met with William McCutcheon, who's that guy we were talking about earlier, William McCutcheon. Then both men had prepared to travel back with their families. So, like, all right, I'm going to just go back over here with my family, I just want to go back there with them. And, unfortunately, on the way back, George Donner's axle had just fucking broke. So now he's behind the party now. He's just like, this is wasting time. My axle's broken. Ugh. And then while cutting timber for a new axle, the chisel slipped and it cut George's hand extremely badly. So now he can't even cut any damn wood. So now he's just so upset. Nothing's going right. And it's awful. So now they're falling even further behind schedule. So the rest of the party would continue on to what would now become Donner's Lake. This is like years and years into the future as it becomes Donner's Lake. So snow began to fall as they made it up to the summit of the mountain. They're like, oh shit, it's snowing. What is going on? Oh shit. So Stanton and the 2 Native Americans made it as far as they could go. They're like, we can't go any farther. There's too much snow. We're done. We can't do this anymore. And they tried to retrace their steps, but as the snow's falling down, there's like so much snow. There's like 5 or 6 feet of snow. So they become lost because their footsteps start getting covered up by snow. So they're like, where the hell am I going? Right. So the 22 people with the Donners were about 6 miles behind at Alder Creek. And the party had built shelters out of tents, quilts, brush, and buffalo robes to protect them from the cold, because it was getting pretty damn cold over there. They're like, oh, I've never experienced anything like this in my life. It's just freezing. Y'all thought Chicago winters were bad? Oh, over here it was awful. That's what they were saying. So, on Thanksgiving, the pioneers of Donner Lake had killed the last of their oxen for food on November 29th. So now they're like, oh shit, we're out of food. We're out of oxen. Well, what are we going to do now? Oh my God. And then the following day, another 5 more feet of snow fell. So they're basically just getting snowed in. They have no way to travel, right? Because you can't really travel in like 10 feet of snow, right? So many of the animals had wandered off into the snow and ended up dying, and their corpses became buried underneath the snow. So if the people wanted to try to go and look for their cattle that had died so they could eat it, they can't because there's too much damn snow and they just can't find anything. So the remaining cattle all got killed off for food as the men went to go try to hunt, but they couldn't. There was like nothing there really. They were lucky to get like 1 deer. That was about it. So on December 15th, a man named Bayless Williams, he died of malnutrition, and everybody realized they would die unless something was done. They're like, look, we're all gonna fucking die. So we need to get some food. We need to do something. Come on now. What can we do? So then 5 men and 9 women and a child took off towards Sutter's Fort. Right. Then on the 6th day, food had run out, and nobody had eaten for another, no one ate for, the next 3 days. They had no food, so, they couldn't eat for 3 days. Imagine how hangry you would be. I'd be fucking hangry. I'd be so hangry. And eventually, a member named Charles Stanton, he was too exhausted to keep up. He's like, look, I can't go on anymore. I can't. And he ended up he had to stop and rest, and he ended up dying, unfortunately. It's just, this is so sad. This really is. This is awful. A few days later, the Donner Party was caught into a blizzard, and they couldn't keep moving. So they're like, oh shit, now what do we do? They couldn't keep a fire lit. It was too cold. They couldn't, nothing could have been done. The 3 people named Patrick Dolan, Franklin Graves, remember we talked about the Graves family, and Lemuel Murphy, we talked about the Murphy family as well. They soon died. They just died. And then everyone's like, well, damn. Now what the fuck are we gonna do? We gotta eat, right? We gotta eat. So, out of desperation and starvation, all the remaining pioneers were like, you know what, let's just eat these dead bodies. Let's just eat these people up. Let's cook them up and eat them. Otherwise, we're gonna die. So, they ended up resorting to cannibalism and eating everybody. And as the survivors ate the other bodies, the group would then was reduced down to a number of 7 people. So only 2 men out of the 10 survived. Of the 10 families, only 2 men survived. It was William Eddy and William Foster. Lots of Williams here, huh? Bill Eddy and Bill Foster. But all but 5 women lived through the journey, which is pretty damn good, honestly. Y'all go. Go women, go. Oh, Then out of the 8 dead, 7 of them have been cannibalized and eaten. Yeah. Ed Gein would have a heyday with that one. But good God, I couldn't imagine, being a pioneer and, traveling and all of a sudden, you can't eat. And now you're like, well, what do I do? I have to eat, right? So then you have to start eating all your friends that you see die. Oh, little Susie's dead, guess I gotta eat her now. It's so heartbreaking and sad to me. It's awful. Awful, awful, awful. Oh, I need to take a deep breath because I'm starting to get a little nauseated from this story, I'm not gonna lie. Oh. So, back to the story. Many who had survived the Donner Party ended up getting frostbite, so they lost fingers and toes due to frostbite. Which is just so, so sad. It's awful. I'm so sorry, people. I'm so sorry. Sorry, my dog is licking himself and it's distracting me. So, the Donner Party, they may have moved on, from this world, but the Donner Lake, which is where they were at, was named after them, and is now a mountainside resort. And the Donner Camp, where they camped out at before they ate everybody, is now a National Historic Landmark, which is interesting if you ever want to go over there and visit where the Donner Party was, where they'd stopped to eat everybody. I'm sorry I'm laughing. It just makes me super uncomfortable thinking about people eating each other. It's just, ugh. But anyways, so that's my story for today. I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekends. I hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'm sorry this is nauseating, but I'll talk to you all later. Bye.